Welcome, everybody. Our worship service will begin shortly. Please take a moment to look around the sanctuary to locate the nearest exit sign. In the unlikely event of an emergency, please proceed calmly toward this exit and head towards the parking lot. If an evacuation becomes necessary, please also keep an eye out for others who may have mobility challenges or be unfamiliar with our church. Should an emergency arise while our children are upstairs, they will be escorted from the building in the company of a staff member. Our community takes care of one another. The service will begin shortly.
Finish warming up. Tell your neighbor how much you like singing next to them. Do you feel lonely? Are you okay? Yeah, I didn't know if you would want to take a step behind the chair and stand next to, whatever, however you're comfortable. However you're comfortable. Okay. In all of the stress this morning, I think I failed to say how much I appreciate you. Thank you. No, I'm serious. It's, you did forget. I think we're doing some good things. Yeah. So.
Just a few weeks ago, y'all were performing, and it was my first time to see you.
And
here I am among you. I'm so excited to be here. It's been 5 years since I've sung. Yeah, so I'm so thrilled.
Yeah, and I'm moving more and more towards the March 8th thing and what you can interpret.
I want to send you the dating prayer slideshow.
Ooh, yeah, I would love that. Yes, please do.
That's a nice one to incorporate at springtime.
Yeah.
All of the things we talked about.
Yeah, cool.
This morning I think in my nails.
Good morning. My name is Wynn Hunt, and I use he, him pronouns. I have the honor of being your worship associate this morning. Please take a moment to put your mind, spirit, and cell phones in worship mode. Also, I apologize in advance. I recovered from the flu a few weeks ago, but my voice has not yet recognized that fact. We welcome everyone here and online to the to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Roanoke. We're glad you're here with us. Please take a moment to turn and stand if you wish to greet those joining us online. For anyone online who wishes to share their joys or concerns during the Lifelines portion of the service, please put them into the chat in the next 15 minutes. We acknowledge that our church resides on the traditional lands of the Tutelo and Monacan nations and was later farmed and developed through slave labor. We recognize and respect the ongoing connection to this land by generations of Black, Indigenous, and other people of color. May our gratitude and fellowship here echo and honor that rich history. Please join me in reciting the words of welcome. Whomever you are, whomever you love, however you express your identity, whatever your situation in life, whatever your experience of the holy, as you come seeking love, your presence here is a gift. Whether you're filled with sadness, overflowing with joy, with yourself or eager to engage with others, all who welcome all are welcome here. And our covenant. We commit to supporting each other with respect and direct communication as we work in community to explore spiritual growth and to be a force for good in the world.
Yes, my microphone's already on. Woo! Good morning. I'm the Reverend Jen Raffensperger. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I am honored to serve as the minister of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Roanoke. Glad to see you all this not that sunny Sunday morning, but I'm glad that you're here. We have a lot to talk about today. So I'm going to get right to the opening words. Our opening words this morning are from the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s letter from a Birmingham jail. Moreover, I am cognizant of the interrelatedness of all communities and states. I cannot sit idly by in Atlanta and not be concerned about what happens in Birmingham. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. Never again can we afford to live with the narrow, provincial, outside agitator idea. Anyone who lives inside the United States can never be considered an outsider anywhere within its bounds. Thank you, Dr. King. Oh, right, I have to invite, jeez. Y'all threw me off. I'm like, yeah! Let's light the chalice. Win, if you would, please. Y'all made me have a mic drop moment. Thank you. Someone else's words. Win is now lighting our chalice, the flame of our living faith tradition. This flame is being lit in Unitarian Universalist churches, congregations, and communities around the country and the world this morning, lighting that flame of hope that we build a future brighter than the one we have right now.
Inspire us to use our powers to heal and not to harm, to help and not to hinder, to bless and not to curse, to serve you, O Spirit of life.
Hey y'all, I'm Jessie. I'm the Director of Lifespan Faith Development or Religious Education here at the UU Church. I use they, them pronouns. And I want to invite up all my young friends, anybody who wants to have a little bit of a conversation this morning. I have a question. And I do this like every Sunday. I ask you guys a question. You're used to it by now. But what does it mean to be inspired? You can sit if you want to. You can sit, you can do whatever you want. You want to come hold my hand? What does it mean to be inspired? You look at somebody else's work and you want to do that too. Yeah, that was pretty fabulous. Who agrees with that definition? Yeah. So who has heard of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.? Tell me about him. In second grade, you listened to one of his speeches. What was it about? Yeah, that was a while ago. It's a long way back to remember. And your second grade was even closer than my second grade, and I barely remember second grade. Has anyone else heard one of his speeches? Anybody? Does anybody want to tell me what it was about in one word? Dreaming, the future. What else? Freedom. Oh gosh, that was a lot of things at once. So everybody, justice. There we go. I think everybody said justice, and it was all overlapping. Justice. Do you think that maybe those speeches might have been a little inspirational? Yeah, definitely. What kind of things might it inspire you to do? Have big dreams. What else? Create something. What kind of things can we create when we are inspired? Especially when we're inspired about justice. What can we create? A better world. Do you think we can do that? Yeah. Do you think it's going to be easy or hard? Hard. So what we're going to do is we're going to go upstairs and we're going to take the lead of so many other people, including Audrey Lorde. We're going to take the lead of so many other people, and we are going to write something, and we're going to dream about that better world, and we're going to write about it. And we're going to publish that in the weekly update this week. That's going to go out to everybody that's subscribed. You think we can do that? Yeah, let's do it. Come on, y'all.
Our reading this morning is an excerpt from the essay entitled Learning from the 60s by Audrey Lorde. This written essay was originally presented as a talk at the Malcolm X weekend at Harvard University in February of 1982. We do not have to romanticize our past in order to be aware of how it seeds our present. We do not have to suffer the waste of an amnesia that robs us of the lessons of the past. rather than permit us to read them with pride as well as deep understanding. We know what it is to be lied to, and we know how important it is not to lie to ourselves. We are powerful because we have survived, and that is what it's all about, survival and growth. Within each one of us, there is a piece of humanness that knows we are not being served by the machine which orchestrates crisis after crisis and is grinding all of our futures into dust. If we are to keep the enormity of the forces aligned against us from establishing a false hierarchy of oppression, we must school ourselves to recognize that any attack against blacks, any attack against women, is an attack against all of us who recognize that our interests are not being served by the systems we support. Each one of us here is a link in the connection between anti-poor legislation, gay shootings, the burning of synagogues, street harassment, attacks against women, and resurgent violence against black people. I ask myself, as well as each one of you, exactly what alteration in the particular fabric of my everyday life does this connection call for? Survival is not a theory. In what way do I contribute to the I can't even say the word now, subjugation of any part of those who I define as my people? Insight must illuminate the particulars of our lives. Who labors to make the bread we waste, or the energy it takes to make nuclear poisons which will not biodegrade for 1,000 years? Or who goes blind assembling microtransistors in our inexpensive calculators? We are women trying to knit a future in a country where an equal rights amendment was defeated as subversive legislation. We are lesbians and gay men who, as the most obvious target of the new right, are threatened with castration, imprisonment, and death in the streets. And we know that our erasure only paves the way for the erasure of other people of color, of the old, of the poor, of all those who do not fit that mythic dehumanizing norm. Can we really still afford to be fighting each other?
Each one of us here is a link in the connection between anti-poor legislation, gay shootings, the burning of synagogues, street harassment, attacks against women, and resurgent violence against black people. I ask myself, as well as each one of you, exactly what alteration in the particular fabric of my everyday life does this connection call for? Survival is not a theory. For those of you who may not be familiar with Audre Lorde, she was a writer, professor, philosopher, intersectional feminist, poet, and civil rights activist. She was also a lesbian, a mother of two, and a person who engaged with the legacy of the civil rights movement as it touched on the many varied aspects of her multiple personal identities. She often described herself as Black, lesbian, feminist, socialist, mother, warrior, poet. The essay that provided our reading today, thank you, Wynne, was published in her collection Sister Outsider in 1984. She knew that within her many overlapping intersectional identities, there were included some important parts of herself that still would have had her labeled an outsider, even in some communities where she should feel welcomed. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. Never again can we afford to live with the narrow, provincial, outside agitator idea. Anyone who lives inside the United States can never be considered an outsider anywhere within its bounds. Audre Lorde was shaped by the life and legacy of Dr. King. And at the beginning of the address that became today's reading, she speaks to the fact that though she is addressing a gathering for the Malcolm X weekend at Harvard, she didn't at first resonate so much with Malcolm's work or ideas until she read them a little bit more closely and examined some of the changes and growth that he made in the final years of his life. In a slightly earlier part of her essay, I would have loved to have had the whole thing read, but we do have some things to do. In a slightly earlier part of her essay, she writes, "There is no such thing as a single-issue struggle because we do not live single-issue lives." Malcolm knew this. Martin Luther King Jr. knew this. Our struggles are particular, but we are not alone. We are not perfect, but we are stronger and wiser than the sum of our errors. Black people have been here before us and survived. We can read their lives like signposts on the road and find, as Bernice Regan says so poignantly, that each one of us is here because somebody before us did something to make it possible. To learn from their mistakes is not to lessen our debt to them, nor to the hard work of becoming ourselves and effective. Lorde wrote this essay for a diverse audience, and within it, she moves back and forth between some direct addressing of those hearing her words who are Black and those who inhabit other identities. The ability to hold multiple identities, to hear words written to the lived experiences of those who do not share all of our identities and still find human touchstones within our shared struggle is a vital skill that we must continually develop and that we must rely on now more than ever. Within each one of us, there is some piece of humanness that knows we are not being served by the machine which orchestrates crisis after crisis and is grinding all our futures into dust. If we are to keep the enormity of the forces aligned against us from establishing a false hierarchy of oppression, we must school ourselves to recognize that any attack against Blacks, any attack against women, is an attack against all of us who recognize that our interests are not being served by the systems we support. The machine which orchestrates crisis after crisis and is grinding all our futures into dust. Remember, again, that this talk was given in 1982. Though she addresses concerns that are not always front of mind in our current society, though they haven't gone away, such as the creation of nuclear poisons, and though some references feel a little dated, if you replace who goes blind assembling the microtransistors in our inexpensive calculators with what populations are harmed and exploited to mine the rare earth minerals that are inside each and every one of our smartphones, it all points to the exact same thing. We are part of a machine that extracts from us and does not serve us. I know the machine that comes to my mind when I think about this particular passage, and I have to imagine that many of you are thinking of the same thing. The governmental systems and structures of the United States, both those stunted and barely recognizable ones that remain after they have been decimated at the hands of a petty and monstrous tyrant, and the ones that were destroyed quicker than we could imagine. Perhaps that's a failure of our imaginations. Speaking to my own lived experience and my identities as Lord does to hers, I want to very explicitly name that I believe this to be a failure of the white imagination. Remember, we can hear the lived truths of others, and as Universalists, we must recall all the ways our humanness binds us and binds up our survival with one another. And we cannot turn a blind eye to the worst parts of our history. Remember also, we are not perfect, but we are stronger and wiser than the sum of our errors. If you feel any resistance within yourself at the idea of this failure of the white imagination, I invite you to please treat that resistance with some curiosity and not judgment. Together, we can and must become stronger and wiser than the sum of our errors. I'm sure you remember that last year, the occasion of the federal holiday celebrating the life and legacy of Dr. King also happened to fall on the same day as the inauguration. I know that at this time last year, I know because I looked it up, I know that I was preaching on the Ware lecture that Dr. King gave to the General Assembly of the Unitarian Universalist Association in 1966 called "Don't Sleep Through the Revolution." And I also know, with hindsight, right, that I was about to be rudely awakened by the immediate depredations of the current administration. I was in danger of staying asleep in the face of changes unimaginable in my middle-class white mind. My friends, colleagues, and peers who do not share my white identity, though we may share many other overlapping identities, affections, points of reference, and cultural connections, they were simply not as surprised by the turn of our system to directly attack its own as I was. Because this country has never, ever treated its residents of color the way it has treated its white residents. It still does not. Every year, every King weekend, in nearly every pulpit across this nation, we gather in our still too segregated churches and both honor Dr. King's legacy and lament how true this still is. Things have improved, and we are still divided. I wish it were not so, but if I deny the truth of our history and our present, then I will not be prepared to engage with the truth that I hope we can shape in our future. I cannot wait to read the essays these kids are writing. The fact of the matter is that the appalling murder of Renee Macklin Good is the thing that appears to, I hope, have finally awakened the white imagination in this country to the fact that whiteness is no longer the shield it once was. It's awakened me personally in a way that other violent actions have not, and I am not proud of this fact. I am not proud of the fact that it took the death of a queer white woman to get me to really consider what alterations in the particular fabric of my everyday life I am prepared to make. But if I admit this to myself, if I admit that this one particular horrific act was the straw that broke me open, then I can begin to internalize what Audre Lorde told us, what Dr. King told us. Survival is not a theory. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Survival is not a theory. It must be a practice. I must be truly and deeply honest with myself, both about my shortcomings, my gifts, and what I am prepared to do with my life in the face of this latest, grandest, most existential threat of a system that is literally before our faces, grinding us to dust. all of us, any of us who dares to look after our neighbors, to expand our ideas about who a neighbor is, any of us willing to learn from the mistakes of the past and understand those do not disqualify us from building the future together. By examining our reactions, but setting aside any shame about them, we can become the ones who dare. Researcher and storyteller Brené Brown calls guilt a learning tool. Our conscience is telling us to pay attention to something. But she says shame not a helpful tool. Shame lies to us. Shame tells us that we are unworthy of love, care, affection, justice. But our universalist faith assures us that all of us are inherently worthy of love, care, affection, and justice. Set aside shame, please, I implore you. Listen with love to your conscience. How are you called to the practice of survival in this moment? I will share with you one last quote from this same essay, at the same time, honestly, encouraging you to seek out and read the essay in its entirety, as we consider together survival, not as theory, but as practice. We share a common interest, survival, and it cannot be pursued in isolation from others simply because their differences make us uncomfortable. We know what it is to be lied to. The 60s should teach us how important it is not to lie to ourselves. Not to believe that revolution is a one-time event or something that happens around us rather than inside of us. Not to believe that freedom can belong to any one group of us without the others also being free. How important it is not to allow even our leaders to define us to ourselves or define our sources of power to us. The revolution isn't a one and done. The actions we are witnessing each day that are horrifying us and radicalizing us and making us weep and making us rise up in anger and solidarity and humanity, this didn't happen overnight. It won't end overnight. There is internal work to be done within each of us and within our country if we are ever to trace our way to a new future, not to go back to the system that allowed this current rot to fester, but to consider deeply the mistakes of our past so we can, collectively, become wiser and stronger than the sum of our errors. Whether you've been working on your internal revolution for a long time or whether you're just starting to awaken to the need for it, you are welcome. You are needed to join the practice of survival, the practice of revolution we are called to engage in day by day, moment by moment. We must consider the fabric of our lives, how much of it is illusory, how much of it is obscuring the truth of our cruel and grinding system. When we lift the fabric obscuring the truth, that truth will make us free. None of us are free until all of us are free. Come, let us practice survival together. Amen, Ashe, and blessed be.
Kol haolam kulo gesher tza me'od lo lefached kalal. The whole world is a narrow bridge, and the essential thing is to not cause oneself to be afraid. to be sheltered from dangers, but to be fearless in facing them. Let me not beg for the stifling of my pain, but for the heart to welcome it. Kol haolam kulo geshet sameod, geshet sameod, geshet sameod. Kol haolam kulo geshet sameod, v'ha'ikar lo לפחד כלל. The whole world is a very narrow bridge, a very narrow bridge, a very narrow bridge. The whole world is a very narrow bridge, but the thing is to have no fear at all. The whole world is a very narrow bridge, a very narrow bridge, a very narrow bridge. The whole world is a very narrow bridge, but the thing is to have no fear at all.
Thank you. That was amazing. Thank you. We have arrived at that time in our service each week where we invite you into generosity. The work and the wonder of this congregation is not possible without your time, your talent, and yes, your treasure. The ushers will now gratefully collect the offering.
Circle.
We are dancing Sarah's circle. We are dancing Sarah's circle. We are dancing Sarah's circle. Sisters, brothers, all.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, I'm not Sally Garber. She's under the weather today, and I got drafted, shall we say. Please join me now. We're doing Lifelines, which talks about the joys and the concerns of this congregation. If you have a joy or concern you want to share with the congregation, just let somebody in the caring committee know. Not caring committee, I'm getting our committees confused. Just let the church office know, let the caring committee know. Or you can write it on the Lifelines book, which is on the altar on Sunday mornings. Outside of Sally being under the weather today, I've also received word that Michael and Adams was feeling very bad this morning and was unable to come to church. One tried but could not, so keep him in your thoughts as well. We also have one joy, looks like. Claire, Lambert, and Patrick had an offer accepted on a house in Roanoke. We're excited about the shorter drive. Okay. If you have a joy or a concern in your heart and you want to acknowledge it this morning, please come light a candle, and we'll use both sides of the altar. Thank you.
It's good to be together. Times rough and smooth. Without making an express political statement, I'm going to light a candle for the success and well-being of every member of the new administration in the state of Virginia. A call has been issued to clergy across the United States to travel to Minneapolis this Thursday and Friday for an act of public witness akin to the Selma gatherings. We know it's not safe to be in Minneapolis. I am devastated that my travel for the conference that I helped to organize that happens this weekend is preventing me from traveling to Minneapolis. Not to make a political statement, but to say that what is happening on the streets of our cities is wrong. The Constitution of the United States guarantees a right to trial for anyone accused of a crime, not for vigilante justice to be enacted by masked thugs on the street. We keep one another safe. I'm going to light this candle in prayer for every one of my friends, colleagues, and peers who is traveling to Minneapolis this week. May they be safe, and may their voices and prayers be heard. This candle's for everyone who's scared. That means it's for everybody. And this candle, as always, is for everyone who's joining us virtually, online, and not in person in the sanctuary. Your presence is felt, and your prayers are heard. I mean, at least I think so. Okay, that's good. I will do a little of my own extemporaneous prayer with y'all in a second, but it was important to me this week and all the resources that I'm wearing a side with love stole for those of you that are relatively new to Unitarian Universalism or aren't familiar. If you go to massive demonstrations like in DC and any larger cities, this yellow color and this logo are things you'll see on T-shirts and hats and banners and stoles that clergy wear that you use to kind of identify each other in crowds. Side with Love is the organizing arm of Unitarian Universalism. They are often the ones that are releasing. I read a piece of a statement on the invasion of Venezuela, which, remember, that only happened a couple of weeks ago? The UUA issues statements. Side with Love often specifically issues statements. Again, politics touches everything that we do, and politics are values and how we live and how we make decisions. I'll never endorse a candidate or tell you who to vote for. I'll only implore you to vote and to vote for the values that you hold most dear. But this week I want to share a prayer written by my friend and colleague, the Reverend Roanoke, one of our organizers for justice, very active in the UUA. This is called To the Many. The ones who don't make headlines, the ones who are disappeared in silence, the ones whose fate will never be known, the ones who don't have a perfect narrative, the ones who deserved every bit of our resistance but we failed to show up in time, the ones who visited the prison cell, the ones who left water in the desert, the ones who cried at the makeshift memorial because no body was released, the ones who answer the phone calls pleading for intervention, the ones who have been on the front lines without a choice, waiting for decades for someone to notice. I see you, the many. The ones who cannot stay at the encampment but can drive by with food and supplies. The ones who cannot lead the marches but can offer the childcare. The ones who cannot join if masks are not required but can coordinate mutual aid. The ones who cannot show up again until citations, probations, or warnings expire but can train others to take a shift. The ones who cannot be in the photos but have been in the struggle, quietly resisting simply by existing. I see you, the many. The many are the reason we are still here. The many are the reason we are still fighting. The many are the reason we are still loving. The many are the reason we are still creating. The many are the reason we will win. I see you, the many. I'll invite you into a time for prayer and reflection, additional prayer and reflection. If you want to make yourselves comfortable in your seat, if it is comfortable to you to close your eyes or soften your gaze. Spirit of life, we feel and hold triumph and tragedy, pain and celebration, anguish and wonder, all of them together. This Sunday in particular, we honor the life, the legacy, the imperfect being of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Not to be an unchanging facet in a crown that sits on a false head of state, but to be a person whose life is a lesson to us. The public words, the private failings, do not expect perfection from your leaders. Listen to their words, listen to yourself, listen to that part of you crying to do more than just survive, but to thrive, knowing that survival is a practice, not a theory. We don't do this alone. And I lit a candle for those scared, but I light every candle for those triumphant in spirit, for those of us, the many, who continue to show up when it is hard, who continue to witness, to love, to struggle, to win. So may it be.
And now, as we draw close to the end of our time together in worship this week, we turn our attention from the joys and concerns within our hearts and to the work of the week ahead. We begin with a few announcements. Next week, we are happy to welcome the Reverend Dr. David Jones to our pulpit again, and to welcome the members of our partner congregation, Williams Memorial Baptist Church, to join us in worship. You may remember that when we joined them in their sanctuary in October, they had quite a feast for us. We would love to offer a generous spread for them this coming Sunday, so please plan to stay after the service for fellowship and bring some finger food to share. On Sunday, February 8th, we will hold a congressional meeting immediately following the service for the purpose of voting to call Rev. Jen to the settled ministry. This is an exciting and joyous occasion for any congregation, giving the minister and the congregation a chance to engage in the long-term work of ministry together for many years. The meeting will occur immediately following worship that Sunday. If you are out of town on February 8th or are unable to attend in person, there will be a chance to request an absentee ballot. More about these ballots and other important information about the meeting will be going out in an official email very soon. so keep an eye on your inbox. I've been asked by the ushers to make a request. If people can and are able, please return your hymnals to the cart at the rear of the sanctuary at the end of the service. It saves them a lot of work. Now I'd like to invite our board president-elect, Cindy Lawler, up to give us an update on January's board meeting. Welcome, Cindy.
Hi, everybody. I'm Cindy. I use she, her pronouns. Board report. Your board met on Tuesday, January 13th, and can report. The preparations are underway, as Wynn was saying, for the meeting on February 8th. Very important day, and I'll just underscore that there are, if you're not going to be able to stay after the service that day, to cast your vote, there are absentee ballots. Lynn Yates is our board clerk. You'll be getting information. Yes, she's waving back there. She's manning the, or womaning the camera. Staffing, thank you.
Operating the camera.
The deadline for submitting your absentee ballot is noon the Saturday before, so February 7th by noon. If you can't get your ballot in before that, or after that, anyway, get it to her by noon Saturday. Okay. We heard more plans for the 2026 annual pledge drive from our fantabulous Stewardship Committee co-chairs, Charlie Fisher and Judy Nelson. I know Charlie is over there hiding in the corner in the choir. Judy is ushering. Judy's in the choir too. They have some great plans underway. The board's been hearing about it. It's going to be a lot of fun and a wonderful thing to be doing in this time of creating abundance for ourselves and for others in the community. Okay, we are researching available church management software programs. It may not seem very exciting, but it's a hard job to keep a small congregation working coherently together, managing our finances, our memberships, all that. It's a lot of work. We have kind of a patchwork system in place right now that we've been limping along with a lot of volunteer hours. We're going to hopefully make that a little better, a little more efficient, and free up some more energy and time to do all the other more important work that our church is underway, so you can stay tuned for that. Members are always welcome to attend the board meetings on the second Tuesday of the month at 6:30 in the Olin Room, which is down the hall. If you have an item for consideration, contact Gordon Melcheski, our current board president, in advance so he can put you on the agenda. We really do always welcome people. If you just want to watch how the sausage is made, come and hang out. And thank you very much.
Lynn, Gordon, all of our hardworking board members, present and non-present, thank you for all that you do. Extinguishing the chalice. I will invite Wynn to extinguish the chalice that we have lit within the sanctuary, knowing that churches, communities, and congregations of Unitarian Universalists across the nation and the world are doing a similar action. They are extinguishing the flame in the sanctuary, knowing that the flame of our faith will continue to live and grow in our hearts.
I invite you all to stand with the choir. We're going to sing hymn 199, Precious Lord, Take My Hand. It was Dr. King's favorite hymn, and I invite you to embody our values with your voice.
Let me stand
All right, we eventually all got there. Yes. Thank you. Choir, what beautiful gifts you've offered us today. Thank you, everyone. It was amazing. Thank you. Thank you, Wynn, for pulling it out, even though your voice is still bless. Everyone, I always feel like doing a benediction after the song is kind of like what they said. But survival is not a theory. Practice it together. Go in peace. Amen. Thank you. Thanks, Michael. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks, Linda. Oh, I didn't get my hand right there. Thank you. Thank you for doing the Lord's work.